focus on improving the quality of life in our veteran community. And we can do that through a number of different ways. First and foremost, we talk about cannabis as a great alternative to the pharmaceuticals that are being forced on us, right? But we also talk about alternative treatments that are not being spoken about in our veteran community and our community in general, whether you're civilian or veteran, it doesn't matter. Alternative treatment options such as microdosing with mushrooms, psilocybin treatment. There's some great studies that are coming out with MDMA now. Uh, Really, really great therapies. But along with cannabis treating PTS, you've got to get active. You've got to seek treatment. One of the biggest things, and I'll open up. I oftentimes open up to you all listeners because you all hear me. You understand. You want to listen and be here, right? So it's been a struggle for me for years. First and foremost, my chronic pain is debilitating. And that's really the first reason that I started utilizing cannabis was to help me manage my chronic pain. The other part of that was that I managed my PTS through alcohol for decades and didn't even realize what I was doing until I became alcohol free. And when I stopped drinking alcohol on the daily, it really brought out my PTSD issues. And I hate using the D on the end of that, but most of you all know it by that. But my post traumatic stress was exacerbated by the fact that I couldn't cover it up anymore, right? I wasn't drinking. Couldn't figure out what was going on with me. I didn't think I had really changed. I thought I felt better physically, which I did. I wasn't hungover all the time. I wasn't needing a drink all the time. I felt better, but I wasn't getting better mentally, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. So I started utilizing cannabis, felt a little bit better. But one of the things that made one of the biggest differences in my life was to seek therapy. And it's really, really, really hard to ask for help. I know that. I'll be the first one to tell you that I'm one of the most stubborn patients that's out there. I'm a do as I say, not as I do kind of guy, right? I think most of you all are. If you're a woman or man, it doesn't matter. And especially if you're a veteran, we're taught to, be tough, to stand up, to push through, go through that brick wall, don't ask questions, put our head down and trudge on, right? But that's not who we are as people. We are a military asset, but when we're done, we're no longer that asset. But we're human beings. We got to figure out how to manage us. One of the biggest things that made that difference in my life was to seek therapy. The first time I spoke to a psychologist, it was not life changing. It wasn't something that I walked out and I was like, oh, I'm cured. But man, over a 6 to 12 month period, wow, what a difference that made. Then I started getting back in the gym, started eating right. I started feeling better. Holy cow, before I knew it, I'm 12 months later and my entire life has turned around. All because cannabis allowed me to manage it and it being the PTS immediately. But then the other treatments that I sought out helped me find that whole health wellness approach to life. And that's what we're trying to get across. If you get nothing from today's podcast other than finding out some of the highlights of this study and hearing some of the benefits that are coming out of cannabis treating PTS, I want you to also hear that cannabis is not the answer to everything. It is not the only option you should seek out in trying to find relief with PTS, or chronic pain, or your cancer, right? Or bowel issues, whatever it is that you're thinking about utilizing cannabis as a treatment option for. Don't just rely on cannabis only to fix that issue. You got to fix yourself. You got to think inside yourself. You got to step outside your norms, get outside your box, and look outside. Find the beauty in life. My wife has recently installed a bird a bird bath in the backyard and a little seed dispenser for birds too. I can't tell y'all how amazing it is to sit there and watch these birds just fly around and, man, see life and to see the greenery, to see the things, the small things that we oftentimes forget about because our lives are so fast. They're running at such a high demand. We don't, you know, we don't remember to slow down and smell the roses. I know that's a horrible cliche, but it's absolutely the truth. So we have to do that. And I think that's a really, really great highlight of this study, that it's not just showing you the positive benefits, it's showing you some of the negative benefits too. That if you choose to use cannabis and treat your PTS long term, and that's the only thing that you're doing to treat yourself and get better, and that tapping you hear is me tapping my finger on the table because I'm so serious in this point, in this instance. If you're only using cannabis as your singular sole treatment option for your PTS, you're gonna lose. I don't want you to lose. I don't want you to lose, because most of the time when our community, the veteran community, and when civilians lose their battle with PTS, they lose their battle with life, because oftentimes it leads to suicide, which is, it's really unforgiving. It makes us think that things are going to get better because you're dead, right? But that's not the case at all. I think I've mentioned before that my best friend took his own life in 2004, and this was a best friend that I had from the time I was in second, third grade, all the way till the time we joined the military together, United States Air Force. We were in, basic training. He came a little bit after me, but I was at tech school in San Antonio, and he was at basic training in San Antonio, and I was able to spend time with him and his family before, he graduated and went to tech school, and he took his own life in 2004. I mean, this is why, this is why we have to seek treatment outside of just using cannabis as your only option. You got to think about really putting that whole health and wellness into your repertoire, if you will, of treatment. Fix yourself, but above and beyond, don't be afraid to ask for help and ask for somebody else's assistance and guidance in what you're doing. Hey guys, my door is always open, if you will. You've got my email, you've got my phone number. Call me, reach out to me if you want somebody to reach out to and talk to. If you need somebody to be there for you, look, I'm busy, but I'm never too busy. It may take me a couple days to return your phone call. I'll tell you that right now. I'll go on record here on the podcast, the Veterans for Cannabis podcast, and you're joined with your host, Joshua Littrell, today, that I am not the best at calling people back, but I will get back to you. Maybe 2 days, maybe a week later, but by golly, you're going to get a call back, because I try to do that. Text message works, emails work, but if you need somebody to reach out to, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And we've always got the VA line that we can reach out to. There are different, organizations in the community, but just ask for help. Sorry, off my soapbox. We got a couple minutes left here to talk about this study. Some of the other highlights is that, excuse me, cannabis only provides temporary relief from PTS symptoms, which is a highlight of this, and we haven't actually said that in verbatim. And I wanted to point that out, that it does work really, really well to help people get out of a bad night terror. Like me specifically, when I wake up from a night terror, boom, I can reach for a vaporizer. I'm better almost immediately. The legislative bodies who are pushing against this don't understand what that means for us in our veteran community, and those civilians who are traumatized with PTS as well. It works to provide immediate relief. So that's really tremendous. We're going to actually include this study on the website listing. So where you see this podcast, you should see a link to it. You can download the PDF. The research paper is called Short and Long-Term Effects of Cannabis on Symptoms of Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder. Now, I want you to go search for that if you don't mind, because it's a great read. I say that with a little smile on my face. Anytime you're reading a study, it's hard. But the sample collectively used the app, which was that strain print app I was talking about, with 11,797 inputs. So that's 11,797 times people put their information and data in over 31 months to track all this information and benefits: intrusive thoughts, flashbacks, irritability, anxiety, everything that's come about from PTS, right? So it's a great opportunity for us to at least say that we've scratched the surface. We've got a great study. It's really black and white data, and it's a great reference point for you all to take to your local elected official, your state elected official, or even your senator or representative at the federal level, and ask them to improve access to cannabis and allow it to be considered a medicine. So I'm Joshua Littrell. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Veterans for Cannabis podcast, and I hope you tune in next time. It's always a pleasure to be here with you all, and I hope you all get some pleasure out of today's podcast. Take care, and I'm signing off.
Line over there, send the word over there, that the Yanks are coming, the drums rum-tumming everywhere, so prepare, say a prayer, send the word to beware, we'll be over, we're coming over, and we won't come back till it's over there, over there.